Welcome to the Cookbook, where we invite guests on to share the ingredients of what has helped make them the successes that they are. All of it, the good, the not so good. You're not going to find anything half-baked here. And our kitchen gets messy sometimes. That's when the fun starts. So come on and join us. Okay, so hey, there are times when we all could use a little extra help and support in our lives. Whether there's something you're struggling with or just seeking connection with other people who understand what it's like to be in your situation, Inovia Behavioral Health can help. Inovia is a subscription-based organization that provides unlimited access to a wide variety of educational, experiential, and therapeutic support groups that are led by live expert facilitators. Now, you can get 20% off your membership with the discount code Cookbook20 when you subscribe. Check it out today at inoviabh.com. Inovia, feel better. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Cookbook. I'm your host, Iris Goldfeder. Last time I said I'm your guest, Iris Goldfeder, so you know, that's how it goes. But I'm your host, Iris Goldfeder, and I'm excited about our guest today, Dr. Tiffany Smith. I'm going to read her bio and then bring her on. Okay, so Dr. Tiffany M. Smith, DNP, PMHNP-BC, and you're going to tell us what all that means when we're done, is a board-certified psychiatric nurse practitioner and the founder of Aroma Functional Nutrition Psychiatry. And it's really cool. Once we get into it, I think you guys will be really, or everyone will be really excited about this. With a passion for personalized care, Dr. Smith's unique approach addresses the root causes of mental illness and utilizes alternative treatment options such as holistic, botanical, and lifestyle solutions. Inspired by her combat veteran husband's journey to recovery, Dr. Tiffany combines traditional psychiatric practices with integrative and functional modalities. She collaborates with her clients to develop personalized treatment plans that support their individual needs and desires, positively impacting their mental health and wellness. Dr. Tiffany also offers an elective online community for ongoing support. So without further ado, let us meet Dr. Tiffany. Hey there.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for having me today.
No, absolutely. After we spoke, it seemed like a no-brainer just because of your journey, which we'll get into in a minute. But when we were talking, I know we were talking about the difference between, like the medical piece and the holistic piece. So why don't you start with telling us what you do?
Yeah, let's break that down because holistic is such a huge umbrella of a word. What I do is an integrative and functional medicine approach. So I believe that we treat the whole person. I look at your whole lifestyle and everything about you that makes you you. So there's no identical treatment plan for anyone that I work with. And the treatment plan can include yoga, massage, and it could include, we can even go to the left as far as smoking marijuana. I mean, it just depends on where you live, but it depends on the individual.
Not in Indiana.
And then there's getting to the root cause, really treating what the problem is instead of you coming and saying, I feel sad and I give you an anti-sad pill, or I can't sleep, so I give you a sleep pill. Let's get down to really why and what's going on. So the functional part is really understanding how the body functions and where that dysfunction is. Because the medicines are just symptom relievers, they just help decrease the symptoms, but we're not really treating anything. And sometimes, for example, you may have a dysfunction. You may think the world is crashing and there's actual situations going on, but physiologically, you're lacking B vitamins that helps to produce the neurotransmitters you need to help you manage your emotions, for example. So taking a holistic lifestyle, whole person, functional approach is going to get you to better results than just throwing a symptom reducer on top.
Right. And I love that because I was diagnosed last year. I think we talked about this as like pre-diabetic, right? And the first thing my doctor wanted to do was throw me on this like medication. And I was like, no, I'm on, because of the condition that I have, because of COVID, I take enough crap. I was like, no.
Right.
So I called back to talk to her and I spoke to the nurse and I said,
Hmm.
I don't want to take any more medication. And she said, just cut your carbs in half and cut your sugar in half and you'll be fine. And so
Right.
that's what I did.
Hmm.
Um, and, I was fine. Although on the flip side of that, I lost like a bunch of weight and I thought I was dying. So, there was like that. And then in February, um, I thought I was having a heart attack, went to the hospital, and it turned out because of the medication that they had me on after um, my COVID condition, they never readjusted it. So I was on the same amount of medication that I didn't
Right.
need anymore.
Hmm.
Actually, it was somebody in the Danes who, messaged me and said, "Hey, my thyroid caused that. You should have your doctor look at blah blah blah." And she did. So I get not throwing. Sleeping, same thing, right? There's things you could do for sleep that aren't Ambien
Right.
and all of that stuff. So
Correct.
yeah,
Hmm. And it's allowing your body to naturally do what it's supposed to do. We want a quick, some people want a quick fix. And even doctors have told me sometimes they feel pressured in having to write a prescription because they expect a prescription. So you kind of get a catch 22 from wanting the quick fix or the doctor feeling like you're pressuring them to give them a quick fix.
right.
But really, if we just kind of, I love to say, love ourselves, then it allows us to heal naturally when we really slow down and take some time and get into what am I doing? What's my body been telling me? And that's going to help overall. And in talking about these different healthcare conditions, we have to know that mental health is everything and everything is mental health.
Right.
Everything we talk about goes back to mental health. And it kind of segues into my program called Brain Body Being Reboot Camp, because it's about, so we all try these different things. You cut your carbs in half, eat more veggies, you do all of these things, but still sometimes there's things still not quite resolved. Like you said, I lost a ton of weight, right? You might not have thought about that. You were trying to get the A1C down and not
Right.
be pre-diabetic, right? So you don't have a provider a lot of times that's looking at everything, the whole comprehensive you, to say, okay, if you cut those carbs, this is going to happen. Also, this will happen, and this is how you prepare for it. So the program that I've created is for those that have tried these different things. They're doing things in their life, but there's still these things not there. So like you could drop the weight, right? Now what do I do? And now I need to exercise or do something to keep myself toned.
Right.
Now, but I'm still having a hard time sleeping. I still have intrusive thoughts. How do I manage that? And so the program that I've created with the Reboot Camp is to help kind of put it all together for you and help you get all the missing pieces and help you be the best you can be.
See,
So that's kind of how it ties in.
that's really important because mental health is especially, and we talked about this since COVID. I mean, before COVID, it was important, but I think COVID really brought it to the front and
Yes.
center, right? It did for me. Like I thought I had my shit together, and then COVID hit, and I was like a mess. I had to reach out to
Hmm.
my therapist from 20 years ago. I started mindfulness, which thank God I did that because it's helped me like so much in my life. I still do
Hmm.
mindfulness because it has,
Yes.
um, like Kofi will laugh. I'm a kinder, gentler Iris than I was, 4 years ago. Um, but it freaked me out, and I didn't know why I was freaking out. Well, I was freaking out because I thought my wife and I, one of us, would die alone in the hospital, and that
Yes.
scared the crap out of me. The other thing was I couldn't control what other
Correct.
people were doing. And
Correct.
when I realized that, and in therapy, it's like, just tell me what's wrong with me. And she's like, no, 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 you have the answer. And I love Angie. She always, but I was like, okay, I'm at that stage. And she goes, I know. And you're going to figure it out. And we're going to figure it out together.
Right.
Um, and we did. We figured it out in like a month, but I saw her for a year because I
Hmm.
still just wasn't okay. between the mindfulness, between all this stuff, everything that was happening was just crazy. Um,
Yes.
and when I finally got to the point that it was like, okay, I'm okay with it. I'm not okay with everything going on, but I can't control it. I can't control what other people are doing. If you hear that loud boom, that's thunder. um, but, and I think once you, with mental health, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, where you get to that point that you're you're okay with how you handle it. You may not be okay with situations, but
Right.
you're okay with the way that you respond to them, how you react, or you don't react to them anymore. You're more proactive and you're
Responding.
more
Hmm.
responding. Thank you. Yeah. Instead of like being, reactionary.
Reactive. Hmm.
So,
Yeah, I agree. One of the first things that I teach is to be calm. When things happen, we have to find calm to work through what we're going through. Otherwise, it's gonna spiral. So the
mhm,
first thing is always just find when something happens, you got to center yourself some kind of way. Pause for a moment. If you're driving and you got a call and it was something you couldn't, that was kind of distressful, get off the road, take a minute and pause and gather yourself and then go back into it. And then know that however you respond, it's okay. That's how you felt, and there's nothing wrong with that. But do first find that calm to help you to move forward and figure the rest out. Yeah.
right. And it's hard sometimes. I mean, when you're in that,
Yes.
because I think our fight or flight kicks in, right?
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and it's really hard to, I know for me, it was always just, I would react to everything. I would just
Yeah.
react. Um, Now I pause about 10 to 20 seconds
Yep.
and I, kind of assess the situation and I'm like, okay, this is how I need to move forward.
Right. And it was a
Um,
journey to get to that point,
oh hell yes it was. Yeah, that was not
Yeah.
it was funny because when I realized that I was there, and my mindfulness coach like laughs at this all the time. Um, I'm a very big believer in good customer service, right? I own
Yeah.
an agency. I provide the best service. I expect the best service. So during COVID, I'm about 2 years into mindfulness, and my wife needs a tire on her car, or whatever. So we switch cars, and the guy calls me and he says, "Your tire's in. Come on in. We're gonna
Okay.
change it." I said, "Great." I said, "So if I come in now, you'll be able to do it now." He goes, "Yeah, just come on down. We're empty." Great.
Mm.
I get there and he goes, "Yeah, it's going to be a 3 hour wait."
Mm.
And I said, "Excuse me?" I said, "I just called you 15 minutes ago and you said that nobody was there to bring it in and you'll put the tire on. And now there's a 3 hour wait." And he said, "That's how it happens." And I went, "Let me speak to the manager." He goes, "I am one of the managers." I said, "Of course you are." And I felt it, right? I felt the thing.
Right.
I said, "Okay, when can we get this taken care of?" He goes, "We'll make an appointment for tomorrow." So I made the appointment. I got in Heather's car, and it was Heather's car. So I wasn't being, like I didn't peel out. I really wanted to just like peel out, whatever.
Right. Right.
And I was like, I am really pissed off right now. And I said, okay, I'm giving it 90 seconds. And I'm driving and I'm like, 90 seconds is not enough. I'm giving it till I get home. And I did. And when I got home, I let it go.
Yeah.
And the difference was I controlled it. It didn't control me. And I
Correct.
and I called her because we're on WhatsApp and I'm like, "Oh my God, you're going to be so proud of me because this is what I did." And I was so proud of myself because I was there. Like I knew I could
Yes.
control it now. And it was
Yes.
the best feeling in the world.
Yes, yes, yes.
I
And
mean,
that's
I'm
one of the
just,
things I really encourage is people having that self-reflective journey. So I don't feel like I want to tell you what you need to do, but I want to give you information and guidance to help you find you in the information that I'm sharing. So if we're talking about sleep, I can give you some pointers and some things that you can look at And then you look at your environment and figure out how to make that work. I can give you some breathing techniques, but you're going to take your own journey and figure out what works best for you. So that's what the beauty, I don't feel like that authoritative, do what I say because I'm the doctor type of thing. No, what's worked for you? How do you work? What type of learner are you? What makes sense to you? And I give you pointers, and then you're going to go on your own journey and figure out what works best for you. And it's such a beautiful journey to hear, like what you experience with your mindfulness and having that experience. It's such a beautiful journey to have and do. And it's so encouraging and positive when you're looking to improve yourself in certain ways. And you're like, yes, I did that.
Yeah,
You know?
100%. So you said that your inspiration was your husband and he
Yeah.
had, I guess, PTSD from it. So you want to talk to that a little bit?
Sure. So my husband is a combat veteran in the military. And over time, he just started to have more and more pain, to the point where he was almost bedbound. He was no longer going to the grocery store, going
So
to the kids'
physical pain you're
activities,
talking, not,
physical pain. Yeah.
wow.
And
Okay.
And then in that was exacerbations of his PTSD, having sleep disturbances. And when people have chronic pain, they're even more susceptible to depression and anxiety and things like that. So, we're in the healthcare system and we're leaning to get care and get better and have a better quality of life. But the options were kind of slim, and he's like, I don't want to be poked and prodded and injected with steroids. I don't want these muscle relaxers put me down for days. There was no quality of life to the options that were being provided. So he said, forget it all. I don't want none of it. What are we
Right.
supposed to
No,
do?
I
So
can't help you. Yeah.
yeah, now we're all healthy, not haven't had to engage in the healthcare system before. So it's one of those things when we need it, we leaned into it, but then we didn't find what we needed. So that's when we started looking at, okay, we got to figure this out. And that's where aroma functional nutrition psychiatry came from, is because those were the modalities that I used to help him. It started with aromatherapy, which helped him with his pain. It helped him with his emotional status. I was introduced by a network marketing company, but nobody can really answer my questions is how does this work? What's it doing in the body? What is too much? What is too little? They're just like, take this, try that, blah, blah. So I got a degree in aromatherapy. And in that program, I created blends and he had different kinds of pain, muscular pain, bone pain, nerve pain. And I created different blends to work with him. And he got up out the bed. So I'm massaging him, putting them on. And then a couple minutes later, what you doing down here?
He's like, I feel good. I feel,
Yes.
yeah.
And he didn't believe it would work, but
Mhm.
he was shocked that it worked better than a Percocet or a Loratab or oxycodone. And it's not like they was giving this stuff to him, but every now and then he might get one.
Right.
But it worked better than the narcotics, the controlled substances, and he had no side effects. So now he's back engaging into his life. And now we're doing things together. So it's how do we keep this, And so now we're looking at lifestyle. And that's when we got into exercise and moving more. And then again, I went back to school and got more education for lifestyle medicine and functional medicine, treating the root cause, the impact of how we live our lives affects our overall health and well-being. We have so much control in our health, so much we can do. And my goal is to empower. But that's where all of that came in. And so while he's improving, my ears are peaked and I'm hearing the similar stories with my traditional patients. I'm in a traditional practice. And I'm like, I need to bring all of this over here and create a whole different kind of practice
Yeah.
to support people this way. Root cause, holistic, whole person, you and getting you back together. And so we are together in the company, working it together. He has an administrator background. So he's an integrative and functional healthcare administrator. And I am the provider, and together we're doing this. So it's
That's
been beautiful.
amazing.
It's a beautiful journey for us. Something that was kind of separating us ended up bringing us even closer together.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, I mean that touches me because, you know, not many people would do that. You know, some people would be like, well, you know, I don't even know what they would do, but I don't know many people that would go out and be like, oh my God, you're hurting. Let me figure this out. I mean,
Mm,
you know, that takes a very special kind of person to do that. So you're a pretty special person. I'm just going to start
thank
with that. It's
you.
true. Um, so you you weren't always obviously on your own. You worked for um, other practices, and this is your story of how
Right,
you became an entrepreneur.
right.
Um, how is the journey like if somebody's thinking about becoming an entrepreneur now, um,
Hmm.
what kind of advice would you give them on that? Because it had to be like an interesting shift, right? Like you were doing this and you knew that you wanted to bring your
Hmm.
modality into the practice and then have your own practice. So
Right. Well, I'm an entrepreneurial spirited type of person. I got to run it. I got to control it. I got to, that's just me. And so it was a beautiful thing because yes, I'm working in these practices and all of that. And it kind of like paying my dues, doing what you're supposed to do. But I didn't have the vision for how I would do my own thing. And so this all came about. But I think that when you're thinking about an entrepreneur and what you want to do, you want to think about what is it that I want to give? What is it that I want? What is the change or benefit or transformation that I want to make in the world? And then also, what kind of transformation and change do I want to see in myself from doing this? And it's not selfish to expect yourself to benefit from, we want to give, we all want to give, but I want you to also know that there's the other part B, receive, it's
right,
a balance.
yeah,
So understand the give and take when you are going to become an entrepreneur. That is most important. And then for me, it was really about clarity around my message because everybody's talking about sleep and exercise, and we know these things, right? But why aren't we doing it? And so sometimes people can come to me and they'll say, oh, I'm having this problem. I think I have ADHD. I think I'm bipolar. I think I have dot, 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 because Dr. Google said so. But I'm like, well, it
not
sounds
go to
like.
Dr. Google. Girl, I'll finish that and I will tell you, you're going to laugh when I tell you this, but go ahead.
So then it's when I'm listening to the story and we're talking, I'm like, well, it sounds like you just need to have more sex. It sounds like you just need to have more better sleep. It sounds like you need to change something in this work dynamic or the family dynamic. And when you make those small changes, now you're no longer feeling like you have some significant mental health condition because you took that pressure off. You know how you have the thorn in your finger, you release that and now you're better. So it doesn't mean get on sertraline and come see me and start, sometimes you just need to take the thorn out. And so I found that I'm really good at finding a thorn and taking it out,
Excellent.
instead of giving you a symptom reducer.
I love that. Take the thorn. That is like, that needs to be on your website somewhere.
Okay.
But no,
I'm cutie.
big time. That's an amazing line. Um, because, Dr. Google, we're out with my wife's vendors took us out to dinner the other night, and I always take my blood pressure medication at, twice a day. And I forgot to take it before I had like a glass of wine. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to die. So, of course, I look at Dr. Google while we're at dinner and I'm like, okay, I'm going to die because now my blood pressure is low. So I called the pharmacist up. So Heather's like kicking me under the table. And I'm like, what? I think I'm going to die. I got to call Walgreens. Just like, get off your phone. And I'm like, I'm trying to see if I'm going to live. So I called them up and I talked to the pharmacist and she just starts laughing at me because the first thing I said was, Okay, so before I called you, I spoke to Dr. Google, and she was like, "Oh, what is wrong with you?" Like, it was the first thing I said, "I know," and she said, "You're fine. Take your medication, and whatever."
Right.
Um, and I would like to talk to you at some point about all the different medications I'm on. We'll talk
Yeah.
about that another time because I'm on like thyroid medication and blood pressure medication, and I have ocular migraines, so I take like imipramine to
Mm,
prevent them, and I
yeah.
have I'm on a statin because plaque runs in my family. I'm like on all the freaking things. And then she wanted to put me on this other medication. I was like, hell no, I'm not putting anything else in my system. I just,
Hmm.
oh, and then clonazepam at night to help with the blood pressure and all that. And
Gotcha.
um, I kind of, look at it and I was like, I never needed this stuff. I never was on any kind of medication. If, somebody would be like, "Oh, you should take anxiety medication because you have anxiety." I'm like, "I'm fine. I'll have a glass of wine. I'll be good." Whatever.
Right.
But because of this COVID condition, I mean,
Yes.
it's bad. And so, it was like they're like, "Take this, take this." I'm like, "Okay." I want to live,
Right.
so I did.
Right. And you
Um,
feel like that. You feel hostage to whatever, they say, and you can't think for yourself.
yeah, because it's
And so
stressful because you don't
it
want to
is,
die,
you
right?
don't want to die, right? And so that's why it's good to try to find partners in healthcare, a doctor that you can have a conversation with and talk to when, so you can have clarity around what you're doing. Now, an emergency situation is an emergency situation. But when you can have conversations and talk with your doctor, like you talked with the second doctor who said, hey, just cut your carbs in half and dot, dot, dot. It was a conversation. It wasn't this directive. And
Right,
so having partnerships with your provider, shared decision making is a key to helping you really understand yourself and understand what's available in our traditional healthcare. And it gives you the keywords to figure out what else you could do to help yourself.
right. And when you think about it, right? Because it's like, I had the conversation with her, afterwards before we adjusted everything. And I said, so somebody said it could be my thyroid because my
Mhm.
medication is too high. And maybe my blood pressure, medication is too high because when your blood pressure is low, your heart beats fast, beats faster, right? To make up for it. So
Right.
so she said, we haven't changed you in 2 years. I went, you haven't changed me in 2 years. And she said, okay. So I did a couple of tests in the office, and she was like, yeah, we need to change some things. And I do have that relationship with her where I can talk to her,
Yeah.
and then if I don't do what she says, sometimes she'll like smack me in the arm. She's like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I don't know." Like you said, vitamin B. I'm
Mhm.
supposed to be taking it. I forget to take it every single day. I may remember once a week,
Mm.
and
And you shouldn't
I
feel
don't know if
guilty
that's
about that.
practice.
We all do that, and you do the best you can. So you just try to, so who's, okay, I challenge everything. Who said we got to take it every day? But but you do the best you can. Try every other day. But you do want to know its effects. So you want to try to give a focused 30 days. 90 days is good, but give a focused 30 days every day and start to chart on yourself how you're feeling so you can really say, I did this thing and this was the result. But really give it a concentrated effort so you know where you are. Then after that, you can kind of adjust and say, okay, I'm going to take it every other day and see if that maintains, or I'll increase my vegetables. I'll increase these things that increase my B vitamins, and then see, do I stay at that same level? So like I've taken supplements and I would give them that concentrated time, and I could see the full benefit of taking it.
Wow.
Then I might slack off a little bit and go every other day, every other week, and then I can tell the difference though. So really give yourself, really say, okay, I'm going to commit to this, and put your reminders on, make it as easy as possible. So for example, maybe gummies are better. Maybe a spray under the tongue is better. Something
And
like that.
you could spray that?
It's called liposomal. Liposomal. You can
Really?
spray. So you can find a way to make it as easy as possible. Keep it on the dining room table, with your napkins or your silverware or something. Put it next to the toothbrush. Do things to help you remember. But
I have it on my vision board. My vision board is right here. It's on all my screensavers. There's this
okay.
stupid bottle of vitamin B12 on there.
Uh-huh.
I see it every day. I have I have a reminder on my phone at 10 a.m. Don't forget your vitamin B.
Okay. Create a routine with it. Like, do you come into the office, you bring your cup of coffee, you sit down, you turn on the computer, you check the email. You have that rhythm, right?
Have you been in my office with me in the morning? I mean, it sounds like you have.
So you bring the vitamin B in with that. Slip it in there somewhere so it becomes a part of the morning routine.
I should just leave it in here.
Just leave it in there. Put it next to the computer power button, or what
Right.
have you. Just one. Just leave one little pill right there. Whatever it takes.
I love that. Okay,
Yeah.
so you and your husband built this like amazing practice. Normally I ask like certain questions. I'm still going to ask them, but I'm so fascinated, and I really think that what you do helps people,
Mhm.
which is why I wanted you on here because my audience is so varied. Oh, and my sponsor still wants to talk to you, by the way.
Yes.
Um, he said you guys spoke and then lost touch. So, but and the sponsor is Innovia Behavioral Health. Um, but and we're actually speaking again next week because they've done something else with their programs. I have
Okay.
no idea what it is, but he's going to be talking about it next week. So, which
Okay.
by the time this airs, it'll be October probably. So, because yeah, I think we're about to October, November. But so for people, first off, how does somebody resolve somebody who's used to doing, you know, practical medicine? They're used to going to a GP. They're used to all that. Excuse me. How do you bring them over, to the holistic end of things? Because that's
I
been
don't
years.
I don't bring them over. It's something that you realize you have a need and you're looking for a solution to that need. And you can find that need. It may be a need that I am able to help with.
Okay.
So you have to want it, because it's work. Remember to take that pill. All these things we just talked about, taking a darn B12 supplement, right? It's not easy. You got to want to be better. And so that's what it takes. Someone is looking for an answer, a solution above and beyond what they've received. They're not getting what they need. They know there's something else or something more that could be done. And then here I am, the answer,
Right.
that's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't, okay. Because I mean, for me, I would want, like, I want to tell, which I am kind of in a way, everybody that I know about you, because I think it's such an important, we're so used to, I remember years ago, I couldn't sleep and they put me on Ambien. And I
Uh-huh.
wasn't the kind of person who would like sleepwalk and do any of that. But I would be on like, messenger conversations. And next thing my face would be,
Like
planted in the
narcolepsy. Okay.
keyboard or something. I would just like pass out wherever. Um,
Yeah.
and I realized that was happening. So I asked them to wean me off of it. And she said, well, it's not, and this is a different doctor. This was like in a different state.
Hmm.
And she said, but it's not going to help your sleeping then. And I said, but I'm falling asleep during the day when I shouldn't be. Like weird stuff is happening. So I don't think this is good for
Right.
me. And she like argued with me, no, you need to be on it. And I said, yeah, I think I need a different doctor. And I saw her for like 7 years and I went, nope. So I went, I
Yeah.
saw a different doctor. I said, how do I wean off of this? And he's like, you do not need to be on this.
Right.
But nobody ever had the um, aromatherapy back then, at least not that I was aware of, right? So that was like
Right.
never an option. So now it is an option. So how does somebody find you? Like, let's say, I mean, I'm in Indiana and you're in Vegas.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I know
How do
you
you
this
find
way.
me?
Yeah. Like, how is somebody, be like, man, I don't want to be on these pills anymore. I need, to talk to somebody. How would they find you?
Good point. Well, that's why I am here with you on the podcast. I am working on getting my message out more. And
Right.
while I am a healthcare provider and licensed only in so many states, we can do consultations. And I can also, you can be a part of the Brain Body Being Reboot Camp, which is not a doctor patient relationship, but there is a relationship where, you're being coached in this kind of lifestyle program where you can get some tips, pose some questions that can help you. And a lot of the lifestyle stuff, it's going to help the other stuff. It's going to help so many things. So even with you, like with a lot of things in the Brain Body Being Reboot Camp can help you tremendously. But what I'm hearing a lot in you is thank God for the mindfulness, because it seems like your nervous system was just on fire, not sleeping, being this other Iris.
Yeah.
It's like the movie Inside Out where they had all these different
Yes,
characters.
that was
It's like
so
the
good.
the little red guy is
Yes.
kind of like always on.
Yes.
And so mindfulness helps to calm the nervous system and
Mhm.
helps your body to heal and get you out of that fight or flight. So it's an excellent thing to have. Um, so your body naturally over time was healing itself. And that's why it took that time.
Right.
um, Instagram, I'm wanting to build my Instagram and give nuggets of information on Instagram. And so I have under my name at Dr. Tiffany M. Smith, everything that I'm in is Dr. Tiffany M. Smith. Oh, actually on Instagram it's Dr. period Tiffany M. Smith. I apologize. um, but I want to give nuggets and free things. I have you said this is going to go out in October.
Hmm.
So I have an app out called Mental Wellness Unlocked. And that app is going to provide the foundation, really get you to start thinking about your life and how you're living and how um, you can start to say, okay, I haven't thought about how my kids impact my mental health. I just love them to death. Or, when they get teenagers
Why am I
or
drinking a bottle of wine every night?
right. You might have forgotten how important having that pet was and how maybe now's a good time to get a pet, you know, things like that.
Right.
So those are things in the app. And I asked like, when would this air? Because I'm tweaking the app,
Oh, cool.
to include more things. And in there, you'll find links to the Brain Body Being Reboot Camp and all of the different things that I have available. That'll be your main source to help give you information and start your journey. And I tell you, if you just do some things, you're going to get some benefit. Your body's going to heal and you're going to get better. I feel like when it comes to needing me, it's that stuff that's left over that I want to help you fix, you know, because you don't want to pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars to see me. And I'm telling you, you need to sleep, you know. You want to start that journey ahead of time. And then you say, well, I've tried this, I've done that, I've done this, I've done that. Now we're going to look into your physiology. We're going to look into your genetics. We're going to look into toxicity around you. We're going to look into your childhood and we're going to figure out what else is going on. And that's where you want me. When you said, I've done it all and I'm still a hot mess, come to me.
Nice.
If you're like lifelong trauma, lifelong meds, and still not quite controlled, you need to come see me. Let me dig deeper and get down into those deeper levels to help you get where you need to be. And that's where that dysfunction comes in. Because your body now, it has too much cortisol, no serotonin, no melatonin, all of these things. Your gut's all messed up. Let's get thyroids everywhere. Let's identify this stuff, prioritize it, and get you back together. And we don't have to do a ton of meds or the least amount of meds to help you get better. So start with the app. Start with some foundational thinking about yourself and where you are. But if you're in crisis in 911 and you're like, you know what, I just need to get to it, come see me. We'll figure it out. We'll start from scratch. But if you feel like I want to figure some things out, I want to kind of see if I can amplify some of things myself, I have resources to help you do that. So that's me. I'm trying to be everywhere, trying to get you to see me in Indiana, trying to get you to see me all across the world. But I'm on summits, I'm doing podcasts, I've done some local TV, just trying to get out there because mental health, we have so much control and we don't. And when it comes to mental health, you feel broken and powerless, and
Mhm.
you are not broken, you're not powerless.
And I think that people, like I've done the work, right? So I've figured out
Hmm.
my childhood trauma. I think we talked about all that. And
Right.
if we didn't, we will. But you know, I was fortunate enough to figure that out. And when I did, it was one of those, huh, like every decision I ever made in my life, every bad decision made sense.
We did talk about that. We sure
We
did.
did, right? So it was
Yeah.
like, oh, and that was such a freeing
Right.
thing because, you know, it, like when I was a kid, I grew up thinking I was bad.
Hmm.
I wasn't bad. I was
Right.
I don't want to say victim. I hate that word, but I was a product of the circumstance, right? That was
Yeah.
around. Um, and not many people get to that realization.
Hmm.
Um, and I want them to talk to you for that, just for that alone, because it is such a when you do this self help, when you do this self care, and you really get to the root of things. It's
Yes.
so freeing. It's so freeing
Yes.
because then you can be your authentic self. My biggest thing
Yes.
last year was about being authentic, period.
Yes.
The
Hmm.
good, the bad, all of it, because we have good days, we have bad days. I had a conversation with a client. It was like hilarious. We were both having like probably one of the worst days ever. And,
Hmm.
I was in a mood, she was in a mood, and it's like, she was going through whatever, and we're having this conversation, and you could feel the tension like through the computer. And I started laughing,
Yeah.
and she's like, "What's so funny?" So I said, "How shitty is your day been?" And she's like, "I'm having like the worst day." I said, "I know, me too." And like we stopped talking business and we started talking about what the
Yeah.
hell was wrong with our day. And she
Yeah.
bitched about what she needed to, and I bitched about what I, needed to.
Yep.
And it was like an hour of purging.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I wish I could hug you right now, but I can't. And then we got to business and did what we had to do. But
Yep.
it was so cool because, I knew. Like I knew the
Hmm.
day that I was having, and she's normally a very like you, very just relaxed and you could just see on her face. Like you couldn't
Mm.
see it in her eyes, but her face like was just
She's
she was not
golden.
in a good, yeah, she just wasn't in a good place. And I was so happy. And I told her, I said, you could thank my mindfulness coach for that. Because I wouldn't have seen that 4 years ago. I would have been like, well, damn, she's being a bitch. I don't need to have this conversation. And just been like, we're going to talk another day.
Right. Right.
And
Yeah.
so,
And
no, go ahead.
that's the importance of community. I find that a lot of people just need community. They need a safe space to talk and let go. And and again, you go into our traditional healthcare system and you have these feelings and things inside of you, and you just really need to release them. You don't need a pill. You just need to talk and get it out. And like you said, just that that session of just release. And then now you can think. Now you've gotten that calm. You got to the calm part. Now you
Yes.
can move forward. You
Yeah.
know,
See, that
you
just went
just
full
need that
circle.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. So, as
Mhm.
an entrepreneur, what obstacles have you overcome? Because, like, was it like an easy switch, or did
No.
you have some? Yeah, okay.
No. I'm a lifetime entrepreneur. Just always have done things. But it took time to find my voice and what I wanted to share. what made me different. So when I got my functional medicine training, it was mainly for the general practitioner, your primary care provider, not your mental health provider. But it gave me a big enough overview. Then I was able to find more specialist psychiatry kind of functional medicine. So in all of this learning, it's like, where am I? Where am I not saying what everybody else is saying? What is it that's important to me that I want to share and bring forth? What transformation do I want to make in the world, and what transformation do I want to see in myself? And so that was hard. It's taken years. I just recently came up with, just a month ago, that mental health is everything and everything is mental health. Because other than that, I was trying to say how mental health, everything is connected, is what I was saying. But
Mhm.
how can I say this in a way where it applies to the mental health and I can help you clearly see how mental health is everything and it's connected to everything? That was just last month, you know. So, and then we just talked today about the thorn in the finger. I never said that before, ever.
Did you write it
And so,
down?
well, I got it right here. I will. But, and we got this recording.
Well, that's
So,
true. So, but you can
but
see
I
it's still
really,
October. No, I'll let you see it before. I'm gonna be like, what was that one thing that she said? Damn it.
but the thing is the more I kept talking, and why I like to do interviews and stuff, the more I keep talking, the better I get at honing and crafting my message and identifying who I am. I realized I work better when you ask me a question, because all of the information's inside of me. But if you're to say, okay, write me 10 articles, I'd be like, I don't, on what? I don't even know what to write about. But, I got all this stuff in my head, right? You get lost and you get blank. But I could talk with a conversation or a question that pulls me. So, clarity in your message. What do you want? Who do you want? When you start to learn marketing and stuff, it's always, who's your target audience? Who's your target audience? So, being clear just on what that looks like, having a vision. I always start with this big vision, and then I have to bring it down to, okay, where are we starting from to get there? And then I got to have patience to work the process to get there. So, one is to, again, get calm. You have these ambitions, you have this drive, you have this excitement and energy. Then you have this overwhelm. And it's like, oh my God, how am I going to do all of this? And then it doesn't help when people say, people are waiting on you. They need your message. Then you feel the stress and
Like,
pressure.
oh, you have to do this now.
Yes.
Yes.
So step back and know that when you are ready, the world is ready for you to. Take your time and love yourself through this process, because it's easy to beat yourself up and say, I got this long to-do list. I only did this. I'm a horrible person. I'm not meeting the goals for the world. No, it starts with you. So you have to be the product. So for me, it's being a product of what I say, do what I say, a product of my product.
Mhm.
I have to be mindful. I have to self-love, and I have to take care of myself, to do that for you. And so as entrepreneurs, we have to love ourselves. Entrepreneurs have the highest mental health issues than the general population, at least 1 in 4. And it's because of all of that drive and things I just mentioned. It's about the isolation that comes with being an entrepreneur. When I learned about entrepreneurship when I was in nursing school, a gentleman came into the nursing association meeting and talked about how he was all successful and all of that, but it cost him his marriage. And I'm like, that ain't the kind of success I want. So it left, you could walk away and say, well, I'm just not going to be successful, or I'm not going to do this or that. And I said, no, he did it wrong. That's not how it's supposed to be. So I had to
That's how
take
this
that.
works. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so I had to reframe that and what it meant to be an entrepreneur and to be successful, for me. And one technique that I share when I'm on summits and giving my speeches is a technique. Do you remember Chinese jump rope?
Yes.
Where it's like this rubber band and you jump in, you jump out, you jump side to
Mhm.
side, jump in, jump out, jump on. Well, that's what you do in your business. All right. When you jump in, that's when you're in your business. That's when you're working, you're giving that service that you do. You're doing that thing. You're in your lane. You're in that gravy goodness that you love. But then there also needs to be time when you're out of the business.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're out of the business, it's away from the business. I'm not even there. Okay. I am looking at this beach. I'm counting the number of dolphins that jump up out the ocean. I am not there. And then you got time when you work on your business. And so that's when you're researching the latest technology. You're updating yourself on your skills and techniques, things like that. And so I recommend that you kind of color code your calendar. Okay. 1, 2, and 3, red, blue, green, and see how much of what you have in your calendar, how much is in, on, and away, and then adjust it and make sure that it's fair for your life. And that's one way to help you stay balanced. Now, jumping side to side on the Chinese rope is that fluidity and flexibility you need based on life. I can't say, well, you need to make in your business needs to be 75% and 25% needs to be, no, it's whatever works for you and
Right.
helps you feel balanced, because you may have a huge project where you need to commit to right now, but that's temporary. Or, the kids are on summer vacation. You're going to pull a little bit more away and make sure you set things up in autopilot while you're away. So that sort of thing. So you have to have that flexibility and fluidity. So jump in, jump out, jump side to side, jump in, jump out, jump on. And that can help you as an entrepreneur.
And it's, interesting because before last week, I didn't have a CRM. I didn't have because I didn't, for what I was doing, I didn't really need it. And then I'm like, oh, I'm going to be doing this challenge. And now we're in October, so it already happened. So I probably have a whole bunch of new clients. So it's foreshadowing. So the challenge is called, is your website working for you? And it's great. So go take this quiz. You can take this quiz. The quiz is great, right? Take the quiz, and then you get to the challenge page where you can pay, and you can pay through QuickBooks. Oh, shit. There's no email afterwards that says these are the next steps.
Right.
So last Friday, it was the funniest thing because, okay, it wasn't funny last Friday. I was having a meltdown. We're missing a step because I look at things, right? And it's okay, I'm the strategist. I'm the, I look at all of the pieces, and I was I never had that step. I never needed an automated email where you paid for something and, on QuickBooks, thanks for your payment. That's it. There's nothing else. There's no email nurture sequence after it. There's no, whatever.
Right.
Oh my God, what's going to set this off? I need a CRM. So I got a CRM, and then I'm I need a payment system that's not QuickBooks.
Right.
So I went out and I got one. I'm not going to say what it is because I'm not going to be giving free, publicity. But, and then it was well, shit, now I have to figure out how to use this stuff. So I have people on my team, and I said, okay, do you know how to use the CRM? Yes. Thank you, God. Set it up, please. This is why I have a team, right? And it was the first time that I went, I have a team. I can use the team for this.
Yes,
that's what it's for, right? So after my meltdown, realizing I needed everything, I bought the things that I needed.
Right.
And then I went, okay, set it up.
Yeah.
And I worked for the first time. I worked all weekend till 11, 12 o'clock at night. It was the first time in 7 months that I did that. But it was one of those things that I needed to make sure that the thing got done. Once it got done, now it's okay. Now everything, all the systems are in place and I can breathe.
Right.
But it was such a freak out. And then I looked at Heather and I was I'm an adult now. This isn't, not that I wasn't an adult before, but it's now I'm a big girl. Now I'm playing with the big girls. So my big girl pants are on.
Right.
And the interesting piece for me was everybody had told for years, they're sometimes your business grows, but you're not ready to grow with it.
Right.
So you almost sabotage.
Self-sabotage.
Yes. And when all of this was happening in my brain, I was like all of those conversations were going through my head, and I was like, nah. And Lizzo came
That's
out. I
right.
was like, I'm 100% that bitch, and this is not
That's right.
happening. And we are
That's
going.
right.
We are going the distance. And it was like the most amazing. My wife was like ready to kill me. She's like, oh my God, get off the computer. And I said, Monday.
Yeah.
Monday, I'll get off. Just let me get this done. Give me this weekend to
Right.
get this done. And I got it done. And I felt so like evolved. It was like
Yes.
this amazing thing. And so it's been, you talk about transformation, right? It
Right.
really is a transformation. You have to be able to go with those changes. Um,
Exactly.
and it was amazing. Like it's amazing. Right now I'm going, woohoo. So I can't wait for the challenge. I can't wait for people to take the quiz and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
um, so we know your differentiator, but why don't you really, because I'm sure there are other people out there doing something similar. So
Hmm.
what is what is the differentiator for you? What is the piece that somebody is going to say, I want to work with Dr. Tiffany instead of this person?
Hmm. The biggest challenge that people have in our healthcare system is being seen and being heard. And that's one of the number one pieces of feedback that I get, that people get from me. They feel like someone is listening, someone hears them, and then meeting them where they are and helping them in their life. So I don't push my opinion, my thought, what I think you should do. It's all about helping you in your self journey get to where you need to be. And so, if you really want someone authentically invested in you, helping you be the best you, not the best mini me, but the best you, that's where I am. I have this connection, and I tap into my intuition, this authentic kind of connection that I have with people where you don't have to tell me everything, and I'll be able to get it and help give you some things. We don't have to talk about childhood trauma, but in what you say, I'm going to hear things that I can help guide and move you through. And so it's just this whole natural divinity, synchronicity connection that I have with individuals. And my biggest challenge is taking that individual connection and making it bigger to help more people. So taking it from a one to one to a one to many and helping people. And that is my goal and journey, is to be able to reach and speak to people in that way. So I really help you get back to you for real. You know, I really give you questions, thought nuggets for you to ponder, to apply to yourself, to help you get back to yourself. I'm not someone that wants to keep you as a client. I want to give you what you need and push you on out the nest so you can go live your life. It's time for you to go live now. I don't want to hold you, because once you get that taste, like once you is like, yes, I did not call him a, you're feeling it. It helps motivate you to want to do more for yourself. And it just, so once I get that wheel going, you're going to take off on your own. And now you're going to automatically be thinking things. You're going to hear things that I've shared, and you're going to be able to move forward in your life. So I'm only going to be here now for tune ups. you know, when life happens and you kind of get stuck in it and you just need to kind of shift your perspective, then I'm just a tune up person. You come and see me once a year or whatever you need to help you. But I try to help build you up where and this is what I wanted to tap into what you were saying, knowing your resources. When you realize you had a team that helped you so much, I want you to identify your resources. I want you to identify your strengths. I want you to identify what you like. I want to create habits with you, like resiliency plans. If I get overwhelmed and stressed, I know I'm going to put Lizzo on, right? Because I am too fine to be this stressed. Okay.
Ma'am, this is on my, I hope you could see that.
Strong Confident 100% that bitch.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. Because Lizzo got me through 2021, 2020,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, 2021 and 2022. And that song was old already. That song was like 2 years old. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I heard it for the first time. And I don't know why it was like the first time I heard it. And I was like, I just took a DNA. No, I did not just hear that. And I'm like, that's my song. And it was so funny because I played it so much that my hairdresser for 8 months couldn't get it out of her head. Like I would
Mm-hmm.
just like text, what am I? And she's like, I hate you. Because then it would be like, right? My wife would be like, oh my God, stop. Like we finally would get it out of our head. And I'm like, I can't help it. It's just there. And I have video of us on our home security system where we were both just like, all right, we're going to sing it. And we blasted her and we're
Yep.
singing and dancing in our pajamas and we're walking
Yep.
around the living room and doing the thing. And it was like,
Yes.
I mean, she's just so damn empowering. Like, I
Yes.
want her on here. Lizzo, if you're listening, I know that this is like a teeny, teeny little podcast, but I would
Mm-hmm.
love for you to be on here. I'm just going to throw that out
Yes.
there.
And she's a part of my treatment plans, you know.
She's
Yes.
so empowering. And you talk about authentic. And
Yes.
the thing that killed me was when she played that flute in the
Mm-hmm.
Library of Congress, and everybody was like, she played that flute.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, yes, there's a large black woman playing a glass flute in the Library of Congress. Get over it.
Yeah.
Get over it. And she just shows up as herself and she has zero to give.
That's right.
Zero.
Yeah.
And I love her for that. And she
Yeah.
so empowering for me that it really helped me get over my thing. Like that was part of my self-healing was listening
Yes.
to her, watching her that song over and over. And I told you about the autographed album, right?
No.
I was having a really, 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 really bad day. I'll get it. And this was after the partnership ended, and I was just feeling like shit, and that my
Uh-huh.
business was going to fail, and all this. And Heather walks in with this package, and she goes, "Open it." And I was like, "You bought me a present. I'm not worth it," And she's like, "Oh my God, just open the damn present." I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to show you what it was. I don't know if you can see my mess in the background now, but this is like one of my most prized possessions. It is
Oh, truth.
Lizzo. Wait,
Oh,
wait. Do you see it signed?
yes.
So she got an autographed album of Truth Hurts, and she said, "You have 24 hours." She said, "Stay there. Don't break on me." She said, "You have 24 hours to feel sorry for yourself, to get all the crap out. And then you're going to remember you are 100% that bitch. You were 100% that bitch before that business. You've been
Right.
100% that bitch your whole life.
That's right.
24 hours."
That's right.
And that was it. And that
Yep.
was when I called Kofi. And then the next day I went to the doctor, got my I'm going to be okay thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I
You're gonna
called Kofi.
live.
I'm going
Yeah.
to live, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I called Kofi and I said, okay, let's do the podcast. Let's do it. And that's
Awesome.
how all of this happened. Thank you, Lizzo. And
Mm-hmm.
I did the work. Don't get me wrong. I know I did the work.
Exactly.
The dames were very a really big proponent in that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So just like I put myself in the places that I needed to be,
Uh-huh.
and and here we are. And it was
Yeah.
a lot of because of that. So I'm glad that that's part
Yeah.
of your healing session, because that's like,
Yes.
man, it's important.
It is. It is. And look at all this energy that you have, this enthusiasm, this joy. And that's what I strive for to help people get to. I know that one of your questions is about your passion, right? And for me, it's about seeing that transformation, that energy, that, oh my God,
That's the last
I'm,
question I ask.
I know, right? But it's so ingrained in everything that we're
Yeah.
doing and talking about right now. And that is my passion because like I said, when you're coming to see a mental health provider, you feel like just the worst. And to see you ignited, to see you empowered, that is what I strive for. So I like American Ninja Warrior. I like
My wife
America's
loves
Got
that.
Talent. America's Got Talent, because you see people pushing themselves and stepping out,
Mm.
in faith. And that is what I really want to help people do. Step up, step out, and get into their life and be everything that they want to be. One of my mantras for my life is from the Bible. I think it's Philippians 4:13, is that God wants us to live our life, but live it more abundantly. So I take that abundantly in the broadest sense.
Yep.
And, so I push everything to get the best and most out of it that I can. And I believe that everybody else should too. So I really want people to just get over this crap. Let's get you through this crap and let's get you to you, that beautiful, golden, beautiful, unique you. That's one of the things that I just love to do.
So that's what lights Dr. Tiffany's fire. So I'm not even going to ask the
Yes.
question, but so
Yes.
I am going to say, see, we're at an hour and 5. I told you, like all my guests, they're like, it just goes so fast. Thank you so much for taking your time today. I so appreciate it. I'm so glad that my audience got to meet you, because I think that you are a very special human, and you have special gifts, and I think they need to be shared with the world. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back to you. Everybody else, thank you so much again. I really hope that you know how grateful I am. I know I say it every week, but I really want you to know that I am so grateful for each and every one of you. Share, like, subscribe, download, where our downloads are like high. I'm just like so grateful for everything, because like we're getting like all these downloads and all of this, not just attention. I'm getting all of these messages about how each and every one of these episodes is helping somebody. I mean, this started out as an entrepreneurship thing, and now I'm getting these messages how people are actually getting help from this. So I'm so grateful for that, and that I can be the vessel for that. And again, for the people who tell me that, you're listening to me while you're working out, keep working out, because I feel stronger every day. I appreciate that. And really, I appreciate you all. And until next time, go out and find what lights your fire. See ya.